Well, it's a little soggy on opening day 2008. The tarp has been on the field all morning long. We hope to get it off and have some baseball for you this afternoon. In the meantime, a very important ceremony about to take place at one of the most famous intersections in baseball, Clark and Addison, Wrigley Field, just outside the ballpark. The unveiling of the Ernie Banks statue will take place this morning here on WGN and streaming on WGNTV.com. So we'll have that for you momentarily. The ceremony about to begin. You'll see it all right here this morning. Back in a moment.
Honoring Ernie, brought to you by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming. Southwest Airlines, you're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today. And by Pepsi, every sip gets you closer.
The Superstation is America's home for baseball. The Brewers and Cubs start off the season with a bang. Rivals are ready to rumble. Cubs, Brewers, today at 1:30 on Superstation WGN. It's great to be home.
Well, I got 2 words for you. Boycott.
Hank, if you had the power to put companies out of business by just not being a customer, why am I still able to buy mouthwash?
And deodorant. Clean underwear. Pickup trucks.
You don't know what we're doing, do you, Dad?
Shut up.
Every sip gets you closer. It's Justin Timberlake MP3s.
Hey.
Hey to you. HD TVs, millions of songs from Amazon MP3 and more. Sign up at PepsiStuff.com.
Thanks. Have a nice day.
Comes at you fast, and then it hits you. Is my car insurance any good? With Nationwide Insurance, you get 24/7 claims processing at a savings of up to $500 when you switch. Call 1-877 on your side, and you'll also get a 100% written guarantee on claims repairs at a savings of up to $500 when you switch. Plus, get a free Nationwide on your side review to find out exactly the coverage you need, including discounts you might not even know about. And don't forget about the whole $500 savings when you switch.
Hello, Nationwide.
Call Nationwide Insurance or contact an agent to get your free on-your-side review and see how much you can save when you switch. Better call for better coverage. 1-877 on your side.
Nationwide is on your side.
Has asbestos ruined your health? If you or a family member suffered mesothelioma due to asbestos exposure, you may be entitled to a large cash award. Call 1-800-RESULTS today to learn about your rights. Don't let time run out. You can still file a claim. Don't be a victim twice. Call 1-800-RESULTS now.
If you've been injured by asbestos, call 1-800-RESULTS. Recovery, respect, results. You don't have to suffer. You just have to call. 1-800-RESULTS.
Jarvis fires away. That's a fly ball. Beat the left back. That's it. That's it. Hey, he did it. Ernie Banks got number 500. A line drive shot into the seats and left. The ball tossed in the bullpen. Everybody on your feet. This is it.
The 500th home run for Ernie Banks, one of 512 he hit in his fantastic Cub career, the most popular Cub player of all time, Mr. Cub, about to be honored here at Wrigley Field this morning with the unveiling of a statue in his likeness. We'll come back and show you the entire ceremony on WGN TV and on WGNTV.com right after this.
Holy mackerel, no doubt about it, the Cubs are on there.
Every sip gets you closer. It's Justin Timberlake MP3s.
Hey.
Hey to you. HD TVs, millions of songs from Amazon MP3 and more. Sign up at PepsiStuff.com.
Welcome to Progressive.com. Did you find your policy okay?
I did. Saved over $350.
We have a savings of $350.
A savings of $350.
$150. You know, that comes with concierge claim service, local response claim service, and 24/7 live support, all at no extra charge.
Wow.
Wow, I know. I say it louder. Have a great day.
Lots of extra features that don't cost you extra. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
Our children and our grandchildren worried about us getting in and out of the tub.
If you have difficulty getting in and out of the tub, you don't have to worry anymore. Premier Bathrooms brings freedom and safety to your life.
I worried every time she'd get in and then she'd get out.
Premier Bathrooms custom bath enclosures are easy to step into. Feature sturdy hand grips and safety bars, secure locking mechanisms, and contoured seating.
Oh, it just lifted a burden off me. I knew when she was in there that she would be fine.
No worries at all. Rejuvenate yourself with Premier Bathrooms hydrotherapy jets. You don't have to fear slipping and falling anymore. Call Premier Bathrooms for yourself or call for someone you love. Call now and Premier Bathrooms will send you a free information kit.
Call 1-888-228-7140.
I was just diagnosed with diabetes. My doctor told me how I could get what I need delivered to my house.
I don't have to fill out those confusing forms. They take care of all the insurance paperwork.
I just make a phone call, and the professional people at Diabetic Supply of America take care of everything.
My mom doesn't have to stand in line at the pharmacy anymore. She likes that.
I'm amazed I get all my supplies at no cost. How can you beat that?
We carry brand name products. Ordering diabetic supplies couldn't be easier. Call us today to see if you qualify.
It's great.
And players. Dan Roan back at soggy Wrigley Field. The ceremony honoring Ernie Banks on this opening day 2008 is underway. At the podium, Cubs chairman Crane Kenny.
The man most Americans still recognize as the home run leader, Mr. Hank Aaron. The Chicago Cubs career leader in games started and strikeouts, Cy Young winner and Hall of Famer, Ferguson Jenkins. A man who played professional baseball in 5 decades, including with the White Sox, St. Louis Cardinals, and Washington Senators, Mr. Minnie Minoso is here. Legendary third baseman, 9-time All-Star, and the voice of the Cubs on radio, Mr. Ron Santo. Six-time All-Star, Hall of Famer, and current Cubs senior advisor, Mr. Billy Williams. Also, join me in welcoming Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich, our state senator John Cullerton, our state representative Sarah Feigenholtz, Senate President Emil Jones, House Speaker Michael Madigan, our alderman Tom Tunney, Reverend Jesse Jackson, Mrs. Pat Brickhouse, and Mrs. Dutchie Carey. I also want to acknowledge the contributions of Cubs Executive Vice President Mark McGuire. Mark helped conceive this statue and courtyard in 2003, and his leadership ensured the successful completion of this historic project. We also acknowledge the sculptor Lucella and Omri Omeri, whose work will probably be displayed here in a few minutes. And a special thank you to our friends from WGN TV who are broadcasting this ceremony live and are beginning their 60th season broadcasting Cubs baseball. Like Ernie Banks, WGN is synonymous with Cubs baseball, and we thank you. From 1953 to 1971, and as a coach from 1967 to 1973, Ernie Banks delighted fans in the city of Chicago and throughout this country with his stellar play and cheerful disposition. He was born January 31st, 1931 in Dallas, Texas, and earned high school letters for his standout play in football, track, basketball, and baseball. And did he know how to play baseball? Listen to some of these achievements. two-time National League Most Valuable Player, 14-time All-Star. His 512 career home runs ranks 19th all-time in baseball. He hit 277 of his home runs as a shortstop, a National League record. During his 19-year career, Ernie posted a career average of 274 and a slugging percentage of 500. He led the National League in home runs in 1958 and 1960, and in runs batted in 1958 and 1959. His fielding skills were equally impressive. He posted 14,206 putouts and only 261 errors, an impressive fielding percentage of .986. And he still holds many Cub records today, 37 years after his playing career ended, including the record for extra base hits, games played, at-bats, and total bases. And on May 8th, 1963, something truly historic happened. It was an otherwise nondescript game, a 3-2 Cubs win over the Padres in 12 innings. A total of 4,554 fans attended, but in the late innings, Cubs manager Whitey Lockman was ejected, and Ernie Banks was tapped to step in as manager. This made him officially the first African American to manage in the major leagues and predated Frank Robinson's hiring by almost 2 years. Not surprisingly, Ernie was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility in 1977. He was the first Cubs player to have his number retired in 1982. And so it's absolutely fitting that we honor our most prolific, cheerful, and beloved player to ever wear a Cubs uniform with this statue. We know Cubs fans for generations will come to gather year-round in this courtyard to pay tribute to this great man. So on behalf of the entire Cubs organization, we thank you, Ernie Banks, for filling us with cherished memories, for your irrepressible spirit and enduring commitment to the Chicago Cubs and Cubs fans around the world. Before we raise the curtain and unveil this tribute, it's my privilege to introduce a few of Ernie's colleagues who played with and against him. With us today is another distinguished member of the Baseball Hall of Fame. He is known throughout the land for his 755 lifetime home runs. In his 23-year Major League career, he rewrote baseball's record book and held more Major League batting records than any other player in the history of the game. He was the first player to have 3,000 hits and more than 500 home runs. He played in 24 All-Star games, and since his retirement from baseball, he has given back to the community throughout our country with his Chasing the Dream Foundation, established to help children between the ages of 9 and 12 realize their goals. In 2003, he received the Jackie Robinson Lifetime Achievement Award, honoring his career excellence in the face of adversity. Please join me in welcoming the Senior Vice President of the Atlanta Braves, Hammer and Hank, Mr. Hank Aaron.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me say that it is a pleasure to be back in Chicago once again. I lived in Milwaukee for about 12 or 13 years, and this was one of my favorite cities. As Ernie always would say, it's nice to play two, and it was always nice to play two in Chicago because the wind was always blowing out, Ernie, and I always took advantage of that. But let me say that coming to Chicago, I have met many, many friends. I have sat at tables and had dinner with all of my friends. And one in particular, I'd just like to say that I wish that she were here with the Reverend, and I'm speaking about Reverend Jesse Jackson and his wife. Jesse, thank you so very much for the time that I came here and the time that I needed you, and I leaned on your shoulder for support. Thank you so very much, and I appreciate it. Thank you. I would like to say that in the years that I played baseball, Ernie came up just about 1 year before I was on a major league roster. And I can remember in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, when I used to listen to Ernie, and Ernie, you're not that much older than I am, but I just like to say that you certainly paved the way for a lot of us, when I say us, talking about black ball players and minorities. You showed us the way that we should carry ourselves not only on the field, but off the field. I can remember one time that I came into a stadium in Houston, Texas, when Ernie always, I don't know, I'm sure most of you people in Chicago know a lot about Ernie, but Ernie always wore a thick shirt, no matter whether it was 100 degrees or what. He would always wear this shirt. And I would always try to figure out why would he wear such a heavy shirt when it was so hot. And one day I cornered him off and I said, Ernie, why did you wear this shirt when it's so hot? He said, you know what? He said, try it sometime. He said, when you wear a heavy shirt, especially when it's hot, you can keep your body cool. And that is the gospel truth. And Ernie, I want to thank you for that little advice that you gave us. Thank you so very much. I am seriously, I am really thrilled to be here. My wife and I, when we first got this invitation some months ago, I told my assistant, I said, the one thing that I want to do, I want to make sure that I'll be part of this celebration. Ernie has always been part of everything that my wife and I has done. Even when I celebrated my 65th birthday, he was the first one there. He was the first one there when I had my statue unveiled. And he's always supported me. So I just feel like my wife and I, we needed to be here. This is a tremendous honor, Ernie, for you and Liz to have your statue unveiled. I just wished it had been 10, 15 years ago. I wish they had done it a few years ago, but be that as it may, it is going to be unveiled. And I, for one, am going to be very proud of the fact that I had the opportunity not only to play baseball with you, but to share in your dreams that you always wanted. You was the greatest ambassador for baseball, and you still is a great ambassador for baseball. And I salute you on this day, Ernie. This is your day, you and Liz. This is your day. Enjoy it. And I just want to say thank you so very much for all you have done, not only to me, for me, but for baseball also. Thank you so very, very much.
Hammer and Hank Aaron helping the Cub family honor their beloved Mr. Cub here at Wrigley Field on opening day 2008. We'll be back with Billy Williams and much more when we continue from Wrigley Field right after this.
Chicago Cubs got the greatest fan. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
Diet Pepsi Max with ginseng and more caffeine.
Stop it!
I don't know how it happened, but before I knew it, I owed back taxes. My family's business was in jeopardy. I was going to lose it all.
Thousands of Americans owe the IRS back taxes. Progressive Tax Group is a full-service tax firm that negotiates with the IRS to reduce your tax debt to pennies on the dollar. Our specialists know the IRS tax laws and can protect you from costly errors.
Progressive Tax Group listened to our situation and negotiated a plan we could live with.
It was such a relief.
They saved us thousands.
This is your best chance to settle your IRS tax debt. Progressive Tax Group is on your side. Our experts have over 30 years combined experience negotiating with the IRS. We can help you.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, Progressive Tax Group can help you settle for a fraction of what you owe.
Progressive Tax Group saved my family business. Now my biggest concern is the daily special.
Get your life back. Call Progressive Tax Group now.
If you're over 65, you have diabetes, and you're on Medicare,
you may qualify for a free meter from Liberty Medical. If you have type 2 diabetes like I have, you're confronted with choices. You can choose to feel sorry for yourself. I hope you don't. I hope you choose to get involved with a good doctor, find out some things about diabetes and your own body in the bargain. You'll learn to check your own blood sugar and check it often. That, along with a simple diet and exercise program, can help keep your diabetes under control. If you're on Medicare, call Liberty Medical. We'll help you keep your diabetes under control. First, we'll give you a free meter. No one is more serious than Liberty about helping you keep your diabetes under control. That's why we're a proud sponsor of the American Diabetes Association in their mission to prevent and cure diabetes.
Plus, get a free diabetic-friendly cookbook when you join Liberty. Call 1-800-848-4207.
Back at Wrigley Field, Ernie Banks, longtime friend and teammate and fellow Hall of Famer Billy Williams is at the podium.
1953. First National League player to win back-to-back most valuable players. First Cub, and of course, I was here. My teammate Ron Santo and my team Ferguson Jenkins was here when Ernie hit his 500 home runs in a Cub uniform. And the first Cub to have his number 14 retired in the left field corner. Ernie, it's a privilege to play with you for those many years. You helped define this franchise, this Chicago Cub franchise, and it's only fitting to be a memorial here at the corner of Clark and Addison. I know it will inspire many, many people in and out of this ballpark as they walk through those turnstiles. They get a glimpse of you to the left here, and it will inspire so many people to come and enjoy this game of baseball. This is richly deserving and proud to be a part of this celebration. I wouldn't have missed it for the world. I just got back from Arizona, and, I was out there for 6 weeks. And, of course, when this was told that Ernie's statue will be unveiled here, I made it a point to get back because I wanted to be with him. He was with me when I first came in the Cubs organization along with Buck O'Neill. He taught me so many things. And I remember riding back and forth, as I mentioned, down Lakeshore Drive, just getting to know about Chicago. And I think it was a day like this when I came up to the big league. It was dungy, it was dirty, but Ernie brightening up when I walked in the clubhouse because he always said, let's play two. And as Aaron said, any individual who was hitting that many home runs through those periods, they would love to play two, sometimes maybe play three. But, it was a joy to play with Ernie, as I mentioned, over those 14 years. And, of course, I got a chance to be with him in the locker room and just enjoy the way he carried himself. And, of course, we had a great time. I came up in 1959, and Ernie was there. And, of course, the other guy was there, individual who played third base. And I know he's glad to join us at this particular occasion. And I know that someday he will join us in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Here's the current analyst for the WGN radio station. And, of course, I'm talking about my teammate, Ron Santo.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I am also very thrilled to be here and be with my teammate Ernie Banks. And the reason I am here is the fact that back in Seattle, I used to watch the game of the week on Saturdays, be the National League, and on Sundays, the American League. And there was something about Wrigley Field when I watched the Cubs and Ernie Banks. And I'll never forget it. I was a senior in high school, and he'd sit there twiddling his thumbs at the plate and hit nothing but line drives. Well, the wonderful thing about it, I had 16 major league teams after me, and I picked the Chicago Cubs mainly because of this man right here. And 2 years later, I was playing next to him at third base. And we have not only he's not only a great teammate, but he's a great person. He's an ambassador to baseball, to the Chicago Cubs. There's no doubt he is Mr. Cub. And when you talk about the 512th home run, I remember it was Pat Jarvis who was pitching. And sometimes you salivate when Pat Jarvis was pitching. And threw him a slider, and he hit a line drive. It was a day like today, very chilly, about 50 degrees, and it was a line drive to hit in the first row of the left field bleachers for his 512th home run. And 512 home runs later, and I happened to be with him for 14 years to watch it, and I am so thrilled to be a part of his life and him a part of my life. Our families are very close. We see each other a lot. And of course, my other teammate, Fergie and Billy, we always get together. It was a wonderful family, and there's nobody that deserves this statue more than Ernie Banks. Thank you very much.
We're going to pull the statue. One. Push it, Fred.
All right, the statue has been unveiled. Ernie's been working the crowd. It's a beautiful day in spite of the rain here at Wrigley Field, and we'll come back with more of this ceremony right after this.
Are you living with Crohn's disease? Never know when I'll have a flare.
The pain is bad. Going out means planning every detail.
Missed my best friend's wedding.
So many pills. If you're on medication and still having flares, your Crohn's disease may not be under control. Go to livingwithcrohnsdisease.com and take the Crohn's Control Quiz. Talk to your gastroenterologist about the results and current treatments.
I won't give up. Crohn's disease will not control me.
You don't have to suffer. Premier Bathrooms brings freedom to your life.
My wife had a fear of falling in the bath.
I was having difficulty getting in and out the regular bathtubs.
Premier Bathrooms' custom bath and shower enclosures are easy to step into. Feature sturdy hand grips and safety bars, secure locking mechanisms, and comfortable seats. Every Premier bathroom tub and shower is backed by an unconditional, no-quibble guarantee on all parts and labor.
It feels so safe. That's what I like about it.
You don't have to worry about getting in and out.
Very, very happy I've got it.
What better thing is there?
Premier walk-in baths come complete with bath fittings and accessories to bring value and beauty to your home. Ease away tension and pain with Premier Bathrooms' patented hydrotherapy jets. Premier Bathrooms has meant freedom and safety to thousands of customers across Europe and North America.
Call 1-888-228-7140 for a free information kit.
What can you buy with $5? A burger? A pack of cigarettes? How about health insurance? That's right, health insurance. If you have no health insurance or are responsible for paying for your own, Synergy Health has the coverage you've been looking for. Best of all, you may already qualify, regardless of most pre-existing conditions. For a little more than $5 a day and $10 a day for your whole family, you can have real health insurance. Synergy Health Preferred covers doctors, hospitals, accidents, pregnancy, labs, diagnostics, and more. This insurance plan even covers surgery with no annual limits or deductibles. And unlike other health plans, with the Synergy Health Preferred plan, you're free to choose your own doctors and hospitals. If you enroll today, you'll get our prescription and dental plans at no additional cost. $5 a day buys you peace of mind, so don't wait another day.
Call 1-800-398-5007. That's 1-800-398-5007.
I was satisfied.
Mr. Cobb is at the podium.
Now, this is the part I like. Now, I'm not bragging. I'm the only professional athlete who played his entire career in one city, Chicago, one mayor, Richard J. Daley, one owner, P.K. Wrigley, one park, Wrigley Field, and I played all my home games under one light, and that's God's lights. Where are they? I was satisfied. I think today of P.K. Wrigley, who brought me here to Chicago and taught me so much about life, and Jackie Robinson and Buck O'Neill and Hank Aaron and Billy Williams and all the people who taught me to listen and learn. And to have this statue brings me into the spotlight, but I always like shining, and Ronnie and all of them know this, shining the spotlight on someone who done something special. And I think of moms raising 5 kids on their own. To me, those people were my idols. I don't know how they did it. Just like I can't imagine how my mom raised a family on $10 a week. It's a miracle that I made it from there to here. When I had my number retired by the Cubs, it struck me as the greatest honor because it was the first number ever retired in 100 years of this franchise. And I knew it would still be there flying on the flagpole 100 years from now. That's how I feel about this statue. I know it will be here 100 years from now. It's a miracle to me. But it is proof that you find satisfaction, contentment in your life. Miracles can happen. It's been some journey, and I thank the great Cup fans for taking the journey with me, and I thank you for the satisfying moment here today. I really appreciate all of this. I love all the... Hold on a minute. I love all the enthusiasm that you all have given me, and I see a lot of you I've been around and been with and talked to, and I've learned a lot from all of you. And there's one great thing about this city. Somebody's always got their hand out to help you, no matter where you go or what you do. And I see a lot of people here that helped me in my life when things was up and things were down. They're always there. And this is a remarkable place, and I just love it. I love this ballpark, and what I'm saying about this statue, long after I'm not here, I'll still be here. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This concludes our ceremony this morning. We'll look forward to seeing you at 1:20 for the opening pitch.
Well, the statue has been unveiled, a beautiful creation, very much in the likeness of Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub, who's holding a baseball bat and looks like he could hit one out of the ballpark even today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the statue itself. Has some blue tinges to the bronze in the stockings and in the undershirt. So I'm told when the sun shines on it, I don't know if we'll see that today, but if that happens, you'll really be able to tell that this is a Cub uniform, as if you wouldn't know by the smile and the expression on the face of Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks. We're going to see if we can line up a guest or two here momentarily, but right now Minnie Minoso and Ernie are hamming it up a little bit for the cameras here. A beautiful day, despite the wet weather to this point on opening day 2008. Right now, we want to send it upstairs to Len Casper, who's getting ready for the broadcast later on today and who's been checking in on the ceremony. Len, a great way to start opening day, huh?
No question about it, Dan. Just a great ceremony. Mr. Cub will join us a little bit later on. He'll, of course, conduct the seventh inning stretch. And I thought Hank Aaron's presence here really kind of took it to a new level. And you can just tell how close Hank Aaron and Ernie Banks have been throughout their lives, not just their baseball careers. What a beautiful statue. And the famous marquee, of course, is the first thing that most people see when they come to the ballpark. But the first thing they'll see before that marquee now is the Ernie Banks statue. Just a great ceremony, and what a day to kick off opening day 2008.
Very much. I have Senator Dick Durbin with me. I wouldn't say a fox in the hen house. I know you're a Southern Illinois guy.
I love baseball, and I tell you, I was just saying here, I'm looking around at some of the greats of my era. Hank Aaron, Ernie Banks, Billy Williams. I mean, it just, you know, you don't want to get nostalgic, but on a day like this, you should.
Well, you really should, and the setting of the whole thing really lends itself to that. But, you know, seeing Ernie out here, and this statue is a beautiful piece of artwork, and well-deserved, isn't it?
And the thing about this man, not only a great baseball player, a great person. I mean, the very first time I ever met him, he was just the friendliest guy. I mean, start to finish. You can just tell, you know, his whole philosophy, be satisfied with what you got. And he's been a great fellow and a great ambassador for baseball and the Cubs.
I'm sure he's very happy to have you here, Senator. Thanks very much. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Well, we're going to step aside for just a second here and return with more from Wrigley Field as the ceremony begins to wind down outside the ballpark, honoring Ernie, the dedication of the Ernie Banks statue right here on WGN.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I love helping folks save money on car insurance, but I also love supporting wildlife conservation. I'm teaming up with the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. I mean, that's why I'm here, really. I'm going to be making the rounds at a whole bunch of zoos. Hello? And I guess we're done talking? Well, that's that then, isn't it? Don't you even want to know where I'll be?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Are you exposed to unavoidable toxins from the food, water, and air we breathe? Then you need to discover the ancient Japanese secret to enhancing health. Introducing Kanoki Foot Pads, an amazing discovery that naturally captures toxins your body needs to eliminate while you sleep. Look, Kanoki Foot Pads collect heavy metals, metabolic wastes, toxins, chemicals, and more, revitalizing and invigorating your body. You'll wake feeling fresh and clean. Watch. Just like a tree draws energy in and toxins down its trunk, your body works the same way. Based on ancient Japanese reflexology, Kanoki's unique formula cleanses while absorbing toxins your body needs to eliminate. Use a fresh pad each night until the pad becomes lighter and lighter. You'll actually feel the difference. In fact, this independent study indicates that Kanoki pads absorb toxins. Isn't that amazing?
Each day I felt better and better. I would wake up in the morning after wearing the Kanoki foot pads the night before, feeling more rested, more relaxed, and more energized.
Since I've been using Kanoki foot pad, I have a sense of well-being that I haven't had in years. This gives me more energy. I just feel much healthier.
Kanoki also contains ions to cleanse, refresh, and enhance your overall well-being. Now on this exclusive TV offer, you can get Kanoki foot pads for only $19.99. But wait, call now and we'll double your offer. And if you ever need more, we'll send you a free supply for life.
For 213-1494. Cleanse, energize, and refresh your body today. Call 1-800-213-1494. That's 1-800-213-1494. Call now.
Dan Roan back at Wrigley Field as we honor Ernie Banks today with the unveiling of his statue just off the corner of Clark and Addison here at Wrigley Field, and joined by a special guest, Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. I know you wouldn't have missed this day for anything.
Yeah, this is a special day, and the deputy governor's running Illinois today. I'm going to focus on Ernie Banks and the Cubs.
I'm sure he'll do a good job, no problem there. Opening day is one thing, but to have Ernie honored like this, I know, is a special thing for all Cub fans, and you're certainly one of those.
Look, I think I'm among legions who grew up, and Ernie Banks was among our heroes. Ernie Banks, Billy Williams, Ron Santo, Ferguson Jenkins, we grew up with those guys. And I know I'm not the only kid who grew up trying to mimic Ernie Banks' batting style, including the way he used to do his fingers like this and have that right elbow sticking out. And I remember the day he hit his 500th home run off Pat Jarvis and the Atlanta Braves, and so many recollections. And he's been so great for the Cubs, a great ball player. This is a statue that is very fitting for him, and he's part of our history, and part of our history, too, is this is the year, 100 years, where looking to the future, I think the Cubs have a very strong opportunity to be able to go to the World Series, and I agree with Sports Illustrated, Cubs and Tigers in the World Series.
Yeah, but the only problem with that was SI picked the Cubs to lose the World Series.
Well, let's just get to the World Series first and worry about whether we win or lose later.
You know, I'm with you on that, and there is a lot of optimism this year. I know you followed what's been going on in spring training. Do you like what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think we've got a very deep pitching staff. Starting pitching is very deep, and our bullpen is extremely deep. And those middle relievers, Marmol and Howry, critical. When Scott Air comes back, you know, I think he'll be fine. Pignatello looked really good in spring training, and all of us love Kerry Wood. And how exciting is it? He got his fastball up to 101 miles an hour the other day in that last spring training game in Las Vegas. I think he'll do a great job as closer, and he's one of the great stories, I think, of this year's Cubs team.
He may be the biggest story coming out of the spring. Hey, I know a lot of people want to talk to you, so we'll let you go. But great to see you, Governor, and have a great day today on opening day.
Enjoy the game, Dan.
All right, we will. Thanks. Governor Rod Blagojevich of the state of Illinois. You know, we, as Crane Kenny had mentioned earlier in the ceremony today, are celebrating our 60th anniversary of the Cubs baseball here on WGN. And to that regard, we have a special 2-hour program coming up later next month, Cubs Forever. And certainly a big part of that will be Ernie Banks. And right now we want to show you an excerpt of the program featuring Mr. Cub, who was honored here today at Wrigley Field.
Hey, hey, holy mackerel, no doubt about it, the Cubs are on their way.
I trained a lot with a guy named John Buck O'Neill with the Kansas City Monarchs. That's where I really began. And to be around him and to listen to him and all the stories and his positiveness, I mean, really set into my life. And then when I came to Wrigley Field, being around Jack Brickhouse and Lou Boudreau and Vince Lloyd and all the guys that was broadcasting the games and the players, I mean, it really became a big part of my life to be very positive about things.
Go and glow in 7-0.
Unfortunately, we didn't win when I was playing for the Cubs, but the enthusiasm and the positiveness was something that really embedded into my life.
One opening day, it started to snow around the 7th inning and drizzling snow. And Ernie was saying, oh, Beck, we're going to play 2. I said, Ernie, well, you better have another second base because I'm not playing 2 today.
There's a writer named Jimmy Enright. He used to write for the Chicago's American, and, you know, he stayed with the team. They used to change. They go with the White Sox mid-season, but he stayed with the Cubs. And he just told me one day, he said, you'll miss the Cub. And I said, well, I don't you know, I don't believe in a lot of that. He said, well, you are. And I said, well, if you do that, then, you know, every year you should have somebody else on the team who's done well, achieved something, be called Mr. Cub. He said, no, you're Mr. Cub. And then we did a book titled Mr. Cub, and that's how it stayed with me.
And he hits a long fly, hooray, hooray, hey, hey, it's the Cubs' day.
We were on the road for about 2 weeks, and I was sitting there with a guy named Jerry Kendall. He was a baseball coach at University of Arizona, and he played for the Cubs. So we were sitting on the plate, and you know, after you're on the road for a while, lost a lot of games, you know, you're kind of down a little bit. So we were sitting there and said, boy, we're getting back to the friendly confines. And, you know, it kind of stuck. It's friendly, it's family, it's fun, and it's all of that. And it's a wonderful place to play, and a very special place.
Ball game!
That's right, I watched half of it.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, we're back outside Wrigley Field with Hammer and Hank. Henry Aaron has joined us, and I know it's a great day for you two, Henry, to be here to honor Ernie.
It certainly is, and as I said before, you know, Ernie has been with me on every corner, you know. He came to my celebration. He came to my 65th birthday party, and of course, he was the one that made things happen, you know.
Well, you were just talking to me off camera a second ago. You didn't get a chance to tell the story when you were at the podium, but you guys were very close to being teammates at one point, huh?
Very, very close. I don't think many people don't realize that. You know, we almost had him. I remember we were playing a series here in Chicago, and the Braves and the Cub was in negotiation, from what I gathered now, and I noticed from some reliable sources that says that Ernie almost became an Atlanta Brave. I mean, right, I'm sorry, a Milwaukee Braves, yes.
I wonder what the price would have been for him at that point.
Well, I don't know, you know, but I would have loved to have him on my side. He was a terrific ball player, you know, really, and it was just, if it's anything that, if an asterisk behind Ernie, and not behind him, but that he never participated in a World Series, you know, and of course that happened to a lot of great players, but I just felt so bad that he didn't have that on his plate, you know.
Yeah, well, I know you two shared a lot of great days in this ballpark.
We certainly did, and I tell you, he could hurt you. He was a terrific ball player. He was a great shortstop, was a great low ball hitter. I mean, and I remember we were having a meeting talking over the Chicago Cubs, how we were going to pitch to each player. And we got to Ernie Banks, and Burdette was pitching, and Burdette was pretty good. Oh, yeah. Burdette said, well, I got to go with my strength, and my strength is low ball. I said, well, it's going to be a bad day for us. And I think that day Ernie hit 2 home runs.
All right, well, Hank, we appreciate you stopping by. Thanks very much. Great to have you in Chicago today for the ceremony.
Thank you very much.
Henry Aaron, Hammer and Hank.
Okay.
Sure. And we're...
We got to go, guys.
Yeah.
We got to go.
Thank you.
We got to go, guys. Sorry.
Okay.
We got to go. We got to go,
guys. Go somewhere.
We're going to go this way.
Well, right now, before we continue here from the ballpark, we're going to show you a piece of videotape that you'll certainly be happy to see. We talked about Ernie's 512 homers. It's always a great run-up to the big one, number 500. And here's a chance for you to see some of that action right now.
Entering the 1970 season, the Cubs' Ernie Banks needed 3 home runs to reach 500. The dramatic countdown started at Wrigley Field.
There's a high fly deep to left. Miller and Wynn are both back. Hey! It's a home run for Banks. Attaboy, Ernie! Whee!
Here's Ernie.
That's it. That's way back there. Back. Hey! Ernie did it. Number 499.
Well, here it is, Tuesday, May the 12th, 1970. And Ernie Banks comes to bat with 2 out and nobody on in the Cub half of the second inning against Atlanta. Score, Atlanta 2, the Cubs nothing. Ernie Banks hitting .241 at the moment. 2 home runs, 13 runs batted in. 499 lifetime homers. Here we go. Foul ball, strike 1. He has narrowly missed getting a home run the last couple of days with triples high off that wall in left. Strike 1. It's a ball, 1-1. The wind is not a big factor. It's out of the southeast at 7 miles an hour. Jarvis fires away. That's a fly ball deep to left. Back. That's it. That's it. Hey, he did it. Ernie Banks got number 500. A line drive shot into the seats and left. The ball tossed to the bullpen. Everybody on your feet. This is it.
Oh, Johnny. Oh, good. Thank you.
Well, we're back outside Wrigley Field. Reverend Jesse Jackson is with us. He's taking a few photographs with some of the fans here. But, Reverend Jackson, you spearheaded the move to get this statue put out here, and it must be a proud day for you.
It's a huge moment. Really, McDonough deserves great credit for this, and the club organization, Mike North and a number of us. We knew the time was right, but there really was no resistance. It was about timing. They had planned to, at some point in time, when they built a new addition to Wrigley Field, to put it there. I said, but Ernie is 75. And this is the time. And they have statues like this for Hank Aaron in Atlanta, Willie Mays in San Francisco, and for Stanley Musial and Gibson in St. Louis, why not Ernie Banks? And so McDonough set the wheels in motion. We went to the shareholders meeting of the Tribune, and Mr. Fitzsimmons, I think his name is. Yes. Everybody agrees. It's like, what are we waiting for? Let's play 2. Let's play 2. And so this is, and to immortalize Ernie in this way is good for Chicago and good for all of baseball, because he's been such a great player. He's been a champion on the field. He's a hero off the field. He is just a first-class individual.
Oh, there's no question about that, and I can't imagine anybody saying no to anything that would have to do with honoring Ernie Banks. But, you know,
baseball has done so much to make America better. I mean, you know, we didn't know how good baseball could be till everybody could play. And baseball set the pace for the American transformation. I mean, Jackie Robinson precedes Dr. King by 8 years. I mean, guys like Ernie Banks and Baker, and Hank Aaron, Sam Jeffro, they have to redefine America in ways that we're all now so very proud of.
You know, Ernie is not the kind of guy to blow his own horn very much. I spoke with him this morning. He seemed a little bit embarrassed by it to some degree, but you've been with him quite a bit over the past few months. How do you think he really feels about this?
He is elated, but he never pushed for it. He thought he deserved it. I heard him say that Ernie was the manager for a day. But when he got through playing, he was never offered the chance to be the batting coach. He was never offered a position beyond the manager for a day. And he was a guy that would not fight beyond the field. But somehow his sense of his affectionate smile, his embrace of people, he's just grown on people. And so it's easy to love Ernie Banks.
It sure is. Reverend Jackson, thanks for all your efforts in this regard, and great to see you today.
I remember coming to Chicago in the summertime and hear somebody say something about the land of sky blue waters. Here comes Ernie Banks and Harry Carey.
I hear you. Hey, thanks so much, Reverend. We appreciate it very much. The Reverend Jesse Jackson with us today, and right now we want to check in upstairs in the booth with Bob Brentley, who's been watching the ceremonies today. Bob, I know you watched this guy, Ernie Banks, a little bit growing up.
Oh, no question about it, Dan. And, you know, there are certain players in the history of the game that you would have to consider iconic, not only with their own organization and their own fans, but with the game of baseball in general, with the country, with everybody who's involved with the game. And certainly Ernie Banks would have to be at the very top of that list. So much has been said about him this morning, a tremendous ceremony down there. Even though the weather wasn't the greatest, you could just tell by the looks on people's faces how much they love Ernie Banks, how much they appreciate his contributions to this organization and to the game of baseball. And I can't think of a better representative of the game than Ernie Banks.
Joel, and we don't see anything like him these days, but the thing is, and he mentioned this in his speech, played for the same team his whole career, for the same owner in the same ballpark, and he also mentioned under the same light, God's light, sunshine and baseball for him, and that was all there was.
Well, I think the sun always shines on Ernie Banks, regardless of the weather here at Wrigley Field today. You get the feeling wherever that man goes, the sun is shining on him and the people that are around him. Once again, you can just see it on the looks of the people around the ballpark. We're very fortunate. We get to see Ernie quite a bit here at the ballpark over the course of the summer, and he's like the Pied Piper. Everywhere he goes, there are fans behind him with huge smiles on their face. Ernie is smiling. He loves being a representative of the game, and so few guys in the game nowadays really appreciate what they mean to the fans and what they mean to the game. But I think Ernie's a guy that grasped that without the ego that goes along with it, and that is a rare commodity in the game these days.
It really is, Bob. Thanks very much for stopping by. We'll let you get to work, get ready for the game. Hopefully we'll get it going at 1:20 this afternoon.
All right, Dan.
Bob Brentley up in the booth. Lou, we want to talk to the man who is responsible for creating this work of art here at Wrigley Field. Lou, tell us a little bit about the process, how long it took you to get this going, and what you think now that it's finally finished and standing here.
The biggest honor of my life. Just the absolute biggest thrill. I mean, we started working on it. I started working with John McDonough and Mark McGuire back in May of last year, and between design concepts and the sculpting and everything else. Well, it didn't get in until Friday, so that's how long it took. But just an amazing thrill. I had great help at the Rotblatt Riney studio. Julian Elmery are great people. They're the ones who did the statue of Michael Jordan, and just gave me a tremendous honor here.
Well, it is a tremendous honor for you, and certainly one for Ernie. And I bet a lot of people don't realize how these things come together. Once the project is initiated, what kind of designs, what kind of pictures, photographs, how do you get the concept going?
Mostly photographs. It's always nice if the subject can model for you. In this case, the Cubs wanted a nice surprise, so I didn't get to meet with Ernie directly, but a lot of great film footage, Jack Brickhouse, play-by-play calling, and a lot of photographs, and that was how we did it.
So you had some audio inspiration as well, huh?
You bet.
Well, you've done a terrific job, and we thank you for stopping by, and again, congratulations. Beautiful.
Thank you, Dan.
Nice work. Nice work, and I guess that'll do it from Wrigley Field for the moment as we honor Ernie Banks with the unveiling of the statue just off the corner of Clark and Addison here at Wrigley Field. We'll come back with more baseball at noon at the midday news. We'll check in, see how the weather's going at that point, and then Next Year Is Here begins at 12:30 on WGN as the baseball season has finally arrived in Chicago. That'll do it from Wrigley for now. Dan Roan saying join us again at noon for the midday news. So long, everybody.
Honoring Ernie, brought to you by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming. Southwest Airlines, you're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today. And by Pepsi, every sip gets you closer.